What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, what we talk about is making money online, mostly affiliate marketing, but anything to do with personal finance and things like that. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure you subscribe, ding that notification bell, and we can get on with the video. So in today's video, as I said, we talk about personal finance as well. And in my latest video, I told you how to make money and then how to invest into stocks. But in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how to invest in stocks, because I realize that most people don't know how to invest in stocks. And if you want to have the life you deserve of financial freedom, this is what you have to do. This is the best way, because in real estate there's a ton of money that you have to put down. In stocks, much less so. And also in real estate, you have to manage in some sort of way. In stocks, if you do it the right way, the way that I'm going to talk about, then there's nothing that you have to do. You can just sit back, relax, and watch the money come in. So let's dive right into it and how to invest in stocks for beginners. So if you know nothing about stocks, this is the video for you. If you know things about stocks, still stick around, because I hope there's some things that you're going to learn. There's different ways to invest in stocks. One of the ways, the most common way, the most known way on the internet, which is, the exciting way that a lot of people like to talk about, is trading stocks. So you buy a stock for a low price and then you sell it for a higher price. You make a profit, and then you do that over and over again. You sell the same, you buy one the morning, and then maybe the next day you sell it, something like that. And while it might sound really exciting, because you hear all these crazy stories about people that have made $1 million in a month or something like that, or even probably a day, this is the way to lose money, because 80% of the people, and this was numbers from a few years back, but I can guarantee it's somewhere along those lines, 80% of the people that invest in stocks that way and do trading, they lose all their money within a few weeks or months. So that is not a good strategy, especially if you're not looking to get an extra job, especially if you're just trying to invest, to actually make money, sit back and relax, and make actual passive income, because that is the actual way to make passive income. So don't go that route, because trading stocks is the fastest way to lose all your hair and get depressed and lose all your money as well. So don't do any of that. And if you don't have any hair right now, still you probably want to avoid the stress. So instead, you want to invest in dividend stocks. This is what I personally do. This is the best way to actually make some money, because when a company is giving dividends away, or paying dividends I should say, they're not just giving it away, then it's just money that's falling in from the sky. Basically, that's what it is. Now, you do have to invest a certain amount to make a living, but you have to start with somewhere. So if you have very little money to invest right now, you can do two things. One, you can learn how to make money, and this channel is a lot about this, so you can watch the other ways. And there's also the building blocks if you want to learn affiliate marketing. This is how I make my money. And that will be in the description, so that's the first link. But you don't have to invest a ton of money to do that, to invest in stocks. You just have to invest regularly. And that's the very first thing that you want to make sure. You want to dollar cost average and not try to time the market. Timing the market is a big mistake that a lot of people do. They try and buy low so that they get more returns and things like that. But most of the time they will lose out, because when you try to do that, it just doesn't work that way. Now, if there's a huge dip like there was at the beginning of COVID, you want to have some money, to spend when you do have that. But realistically, most of the time, you just want to spend. Maybe it's going to be the first of every month you want to invest your money. So say you want to invest $100 the first month, $100 the second month, $100, and so on and so forth. That is the best way to do it. Don't try and time the market. That is a big mistake, because most of the time you will actually buy high, and that's just the way it is. But if you do the first of every month, maybe sometimes you'll buy high, maybe sometimes you'll buy low, but it will just average out, and that's why it's called dollar cost average. The next thing that you want to look out for is you want to invest in companies that are worth over 500 million. That's US dollars, because that is a company that is strong. That's a big company. That's companies that are too big to fail, and they will just have so much money that it doesn't really matter. They are just going to just work, no matter if there's a pandemic that hits or something like that. These companies that are worth over $500 million, these are companies that are strong. That's just the way it is. And you also want to watch out that these companies are actually growing and making money. You can use Yahoo Finance to see all of these different things that I'm talking about. Yahoo Finance is a really good way to watch out for these things. So companies that are worth over $500 million is great. Make sure they're growing. And also, how are they making the money? Do you understand and believe in the long term of that company? If you don't understand how a company is making money, it's probably not a good idea to invest in it. And the same goes for a lot of different things. Now, you can learn about it and then understand, but from the time you don't understand, you really do want to, understand how they're making money. If you don't and you just look at the numbers, it's not going to be a great fit. And you believe in the long term. So maybe there's a company that's okay, you understand how they're making money and you think it's great, but you maybe don't believe in the long term. So that can be something that's related to petrol cars or something like that. And if you see that in the future they're not looking out to different ways for sustainable energy, that might be a tough time for them, because at the moment, it might change in the future, but at the moment, all governments from around the world are trying to push towards electric energy. Since all the governments are looking out to push towards electric things, maybe petrol things that are staying in petrol and not investing anything in sustainable energy, you might want to watch out for that, because what you're looking for when you're dividend investing or, stock investing in for dividend stocks, you want to look out for the long term. What are they going to be like in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, or, whatever it may be, because that is what you're eventually what you're going to live on in the future. So if you start to get old and none of these are working, then it's going to be very hard for you to live and make, especially if you're trying to have a big, good lifestyle, or an expensive lifestyle, I should say. So this is not going to be something that's in the short term. Look out for the long term. So let's see what they do in the long term. So as I said, invest in companies that are growing, because if they're not growing, it's going to be very hard. You don't want to necessarily go investing in companies that are growing like crazy, like Tesla or things like that, because maybe in the future they won't be decent or something like that, and Tesla are not giving away dividends, or paying dividends, so that's something that you want to look out for. You want to invest in companies that have been paying dividends for the last 5 years at least. As I said, you can watch on Yahoo Finance. Look out for the past 5 years. Have they been paying dividends? If they've been paying dividends since the 80s, like Coca-Cola, for example, that have been paying dividends forever, you know that it's a solid company. They're worth more than 500 million. They've been paying dividends forever. They're still growing to this day. You see Coca-Cola everywhere in the world. So that's a great example of a company that pays dividends. And, I have stocks of Coca-Cola because I think it's a great investment to get into. The other thing that you can watch out for or do instead of investing in little companies or different companies, never invest in a small company unless the risk to reward is really high, is you can invest in ETFs. So ETFs are basically a stock that gets different stocks in there. So one of the most known ones and big ones out there is the Vanguard S&P 500. That's just a side note, your broker is just an app that you can use. There's different ones, and I'm not going to name the ones because it can be different from where you live to where I live to where somebody else, for example, in the US, it's different to Europe and things like that. But it's just an app where you actually are able to buy stocks. So you take the money from your bank account, put it on that app, and then you're able to buy some stocks. So S&P 500 is a big one. If you're able to invest in one, it's a very stable one because it just represents the 500 largest companies in the US, and US companies are typically very strong. Now, not all the 500 companies will pay dividends. Tesla is in there. As I mentioned before, they don't pay dividends, but there are a lot of companies that do, so it's still a great way to get into that. So ETFs, I talked about the Vanguard S&P 500, but there are a few different ones out there. I could get into those in a different video, but we're also going to talk about making money online because that is very important, but we can talk about stocks if you're interested in that as well. So that is the basics of investing. This is not financial advice because I'm not allowed to say it's financial advice, but do the research yourself as well. But those are the basics. I could make some different videos in the future of what you look out for and how to do it, and take you through Yahoo Finance. So if you're interested in that, you can click, leave me a comment because I'd be really interested to know what you want to know. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.